Get started here. Call this regular scheduled session of the court into order on the 8th day of February 2022. And we'll start out with Magistrates Sammons leading us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Almighty God, we thank you this morning for such a beautiful day, Lord, that you have given us to do what we want to do with it. Lord, we just thank you for so many blessings that you do give us that too often we do take for granted, Lord. Lord, we ask you to be with our military people throughout the world that they're on alert in so many different places. And Lord, we just ask you to be with them and their families that are back home. And Lord, we just ask you to be with our first responders. They're always ready to give us the care we need. And Lord, we just ask you to look after the elderly and kids that may be homeless today and may be real hungry. So Lord, we just ask you to be with them. Lord, we just ask you to be with this court. May we always be mindful of doing our duties in a business-like manner and keep our constituents in mind that we represent them and are elected by them or actually vote for them or hired by them, Lord. So let us always be mindful of that. Lord, I just ask you to be with us this morning as we go through this meeting and be with these young people with the FFAs. They come in and keep your arms wrapped around them as they grow up, oh Lord. We ask you to be with us now as we start this meeting. I ask all this in Jesus Christ's precious name I pray. Amen.
Amen. I'll return.
If you'll join me in our pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. Next, we'll consider approving our minutes.
I'll make the motion, we approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
We have a motion made by Magistrate Gay to approve the minutes as presented and seconded by Magistrate Sammons. Comments, corrections? Being none, all those in favor of approving the minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, next we have approval of bills, and this is where Mariah comes in.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So this morning, the standing orders that have been paid out total $387,117.18. Our bills to be approved for payment total at $2,932,611.13.
Make a motion.
Motion to approve the bills made by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by
Sammons.
Magistrate Sammons. Questions, comments, or discussions about the bills? Being none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mariah. All right. Next, we'll talk about some budget transfers.
Okay. Actually, first I wanted to, I gave you a copy of 3 new line items that needed to be made for the ARPA fund. That's just to basically get that out there. It's all been sitting in reserve account, so it's to get that out there so that we will be able to expend a little bit of that.
Were we allowed to earn interest on that?
We were.
Good.
So we need Pennies to, on the dollar. we need to visually approve those line items?
Yes, we'll have to approve those line items.
Okay, I'll make a motion, we approve the ARPA line items
Second.
as listed.
All right, motion by Magistrate Gay and second by Magistrate Ellis to approve the ARPA line items as presented by the treasurer. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Have we received all the ARPA money we're supposed to get?
For the first
Phase.
distribution, it's divided in half. The one, I don't know if the next FY we get the second draw, which is the balance of what we've been awarded by the county, to the county. we have half of it right now.
Good.
So, okay, Darlene, go ahead.
All right, again, we have several transfers, just to make sure all the bills get paid on those line items. So that was a little two-pager, but it puts some of the money in those accounts so that I can get those bills paid and sign those checks for you. And some of that is for the ARPA money. And we do have a bill that's included in your packets that will cover that. But
How much is that amount?
that total amount is $1,283,639.73.
And that does include the commission off the consultants, both the legal and Compass commission on that draw.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion made by Master Gay and seconded by Master Short to approve the budget transfers. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right. Cash transfers.
Okay, next thing was just the movement of a little bit of money to a couple of the other accounts to take care of regular operations, to move some money for, when Mercer County pays us on their joint jail, they always pay in one sum. Part of that goes to the general fund, so we always have to move that separately. But this is just to take care of a couple of operations. One was for a bed liner that should have come out of the Boyle jail account instead of joint jail, things like that.
And that total is?
That total is $208,000.
So moved.
Okay, they have a motion to approve the cash transfers. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Master Dell, second by Master Short. Is there any discussions, questions, or comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Is that all we have, Madam Treasurer?
That's all for
right.
right now.
Thank you, thank you. All right, we'll go right into the consent calendar, and if you will invite the FFA folks in.
Yeah. Welcome. Thank y'all for having us.
Morning.
Future fathers over there.
Yes.
Did Representative Elliott make it in with us?
He's
There he is. All right.
FFA? Well, let's go.
Well, first and foremost, welcome to each and every one of you to the Boyle County Fiscal Court. It is an annual joy and pleasure of mine and honor to, on behalf of this court, and you have the whole court here, to read the proclamation for the future farmers of America. And I'm going to stand as I read this out of respect to the organization. Sure.
Daniel,
We're going to get some photo ops after I read this. National FFA Week Proclamation. Whereas FFA and agriculture education provide a strong foundation for the youth of America and the future of food, fiber, and natural resources systems. And whereas FFA promotes premier leadership, personal growth, and career success among its members, and whereas agriculture education and FFA ensure a steady supply of young professionals to meet the growing needs in the science, business, and technology of agriculture, and whereas the FFA motto, learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve, gives direction and purpose to these students who take an active role in succeeding in agriculture education, and whereas the FFA promotes citizenship, volunteerism, patriotism, and cooperation. Therefore, I do hereby designate the week of February 19 through 26, 2022 as National FFA Week. I would ask for the court to entertain a motion for approval. So made by Magistrate Ellison, seconded by Magistrate Sammons. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, and I will sign this proclamation approved by this fiscal court.
Judge, for the record, since we're being recorded, could these young folks give their names?
If they so wish, that was fine with me.
Starting with you, gentlemen.
All right, Jacob Lyons.
Eli
That's
Hunley.
Floyd Lyons' grandson, in case you all didn't know.
Don't hold that against me.
Second gentleman. Eli Hunley.
Sydney Hogue.
Logan Kirkland. Gracie Eldridge. Avery Holman.
Ashton Jones, one of the Ag Advisors. Alex Luster.
And Ashley Kendrick, the other Ag Advisor.
I would like to compliment you all on your looks. You're such a sharp-looking group.
Thank you,
Oh, I'm
sir.
sorry. Got your block. Did you get by
There
that?
there we go.
And how many of you live in the blue area?
Such a sharp-looking group.
Oh, my Lord. They can't vote, Tom.
Oh, yes, if they're 18, they can.
Now, do we need to be further back for the photo? This will be sent to the newspaper also. Everybody, no.
Yeah, come up front. Got two more coming up front here.
Okay, if you can't,
All right, take your positions, everybody talking.
I won't be able to see it.
You come on up here.
The shorter folks need to be up
Yeah,
front.
up in the
Everybody,
front.
I'm short, so I get up front.
You want to come to the front, just come and stand right in the, yeah.
Either side, front, there.
How's this looking? Is this looking okay?
I mean, how many of y'all work in the Boyle greenhouse?
If you could scoot over.
Pretty much all of us.
Get a picture of you, perfect.
Okay, y'all ready?
I'm gonna present this to somebody here,
Keep
just
your
really just hold
hand
it.
just that way about a step. I can't see his smile behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's do this, let's do this.
1, 2, 3, that's great. Good picture. Okay, thank you.
All right.
Well, the reason I asked that, we get our flowers for you guys for Constitution Square, and we greatly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
That was something new that was brought on by the general here not too long ago.
We certainly appreciate your all support as well.
It's great. You guys do great work out there. We've gotten nothing but compliments on the flowers out there, so thank you very much.
We appreciate you all.
Yeah.
You have a great day and enjoyed you being here. You can brighten up the whole courtroom.
Now skate while you can.
Thank you.
But otherwise,
Have a good day, sir.
See y'all.
You
Thank
bet.
you.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Danielle.
Thank you, guys.
Danielle, we'll see you tomorrow.
we're a captive audience there for about 60 days. They lost it, otherwise they'll let us out.
Daniel, we'll see you at breakfast.
That's true. I'll be right back here, Judge. But I'll see you tomorrow.
The courtroom's not big enough. I'm too big for it, so.
I think we kind of figured out that we don't have to, but we'd like your
I gotta be
opinion on it,
Lexington to 15 for.
since I've got you on retainer.
Have you? You told me it earlier, I thought I remember.
They called me this morning.
I'm wondering if
All right.
They do, I like that.
As one of us usually says, moving right along. Next, we need to approve the training hours for a whole bunch of folks. And you see the letters in there.
I'll make that motion to approve the training hours for all you overachievers again.
Motion's been made by Max Gage to approve the training hours for all the overachievers in the courtroom.
We'll cover you.
They get it done so quick each year.
Is there a second?
I second it.
A second by Magistrate Kenny Wood. Let's have some discussion about this, shall we? Is it appropriate, right? What do you
It's good,
think?
y'all are all good. I appreciate you all's efforts to get educated so quickly.
Well, it was-
Lead by example, we
That's
do.
right.
Lead by
You need
example.
some hours?
That's right. I know, y'all have any to spare?
Yeah, we do.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, like sign, motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. All right, next, we're gonna have another opportunity for me to maneuver the chair maze here. I wanna bring some folks in on the ARPA check presentation to Parksville Water District, if we can get them in here. And,
Hot water, Parksville.
Yeah, no, they're on Parksville water.
Parksville water.
Morning, morning.
We got a couple more.
Got more.
Yeah.
Annex.
Better, who is it?
I've got a meeting set with you also.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw that.
Oh, Bob.
As the court knows that we have received some ARPA funds, American Recovery Act funds. So as part of that, the money had some criteria to be met for water improvements, water systems improvement, and broadband, and others has grown. But the first, and the county was awarded about 8.2 million to award to facilities and entities around the county that money could help improve the distribution of services to residents. This court has determined that the first award of the ARPA funds that the county has been issued by the federal government by act of Congress will go to the Parksville Water District. They have successfully navigated several process steps to be in position for an award, and this court awarded them an amount of $1,245,000 to help upgrade their existing water systems. I want to congratulate the board and Debbie and everybody involved here. We got Representative Elliott here who gets his water from your all's district, and
Me too.
that he is in his official capacity as a legislator has carved out some other money that is being issued out through Kentucky Infrastructure Authority and elsewhere. So this is a very significant help and assistance, and I'm just honored and glad that Parksville Water District is the first recipient of these funds in Boyle County, and I would like to present you all with this check so you can see it for $1,245,000 on this date, February the 4th, 2022. So if you want to get up here, we'll take some pictures.
Yeah.
Let me get in here.
Can everybody kind of squish in?
That fun's in that through the
Squish in
bank.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Tom, squish to your left.
All right, you ready?
Smile. My left.
Got it.
All right, congratulations, each and every one of you.
Thank
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Vicky? Thanks for your
Thank you. You keep it, should we take it?
Yeah, appreciate it.
We'll send y'all. We'll send y'all pictures.
Thank y'all.
Nice day.
You want to sit this in your office for a while?
Judge, Judge, give him that one too.
I got two.
Give him that one as an IOU.
Okay, take us to your office for a while.
I'm showing you a bandy there.
When someone says what Boyle County do for you, so I'll take it. Thank you.
I'll be there.
I don't think they'll let you do that.
Fund in place, we take that cash and right now.
You got that right.
Yeah.
Let's see. Think you got a better route this way?
Yeah.
Be careful.
Oh, he's going.
Yes, sir.
Well, this was a better route. You guys are a heck of an obstacle course over there.
Sorry about that.
I'll let you in through a lot easier.
All right. All right, now, we need to vote on the maximum allowable compensation for the elected officials and
$3.
$3.
Talking about the higher ups.
Where is it on back?
Page.
Okay. The annual salary set by House Bill 810 for Boyle County with a census of 29,924, which we all know that it's going over that, but it's I learned something, and you guys probably already knew this. Those amounts are set statutorily by term, not by census. Okay? So, the county judge exec, should I read these or what's your preference?
Yeah, let's do that, just for the record, I think, in the audience.
Okay. The county judge executive is 105-273-28, as is the county clerk, the county sheriff, and the county jailer, all step 4, level 4. 7%, consider a 7% increase in the annual salaries for the following positions: the county attorney, $55,990.69, county coroner, $22,198.69, and the magistrates of $94.75, $9,475.61. Effective 1/1/22. In your binders, you see the maximum allowable scale chart for 2022, and you see the judge's salary, the clerk's salary, the sheriff's salary, and the jailer's salary. Does anybody have any questions about the calculations or amounts that they see in the book? These are all set by statute. It's not set by this court.
That's what I started
It is
saying.
not set by this court.
There's nothing we can do about it, so why look at it?
I'll make a motion if we approve those.
We have a motion to approve
Oh, now they're quiet over there.
the recommended state amounts
I'll
for
second it.
salaries by Magistrate Gay, second by Magistrate Cullen. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously.
When does this come in effect? Next year?
January 1, 22.
1/1/22, it's already in effect.
It's already in effect.
Don't go spend it all in one place there, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Okay?
I don't pay
So-
attention to that anyway.
Next, we have on the agenda comp time agreements. You see those in your binder.
I'll second Jason's motion.
Motion to approve by Magistrate Cullen, seconded by Magistrate Gay. Any comments, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you for that. All right, and in my packet, you have seen and have received an email, a recommendation of a short bio about Mr. Jeremy Watson, a resident of Junction City, who I have talked with on the phone and would eagerly love to accept, with this court's blessing, the position of an ethics committee person to help that committee move forward with revisions in our regulations.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Short to approve Mr. Jeremy Watson from Junction City as a member of the Ethics Committee.
I thought we normally looked at them before we voted on them. Meet them in person.
If they're available.
I'm sorry.
He works full-time in Richmond
At EKU.
at EKU, so would you like for him to come in next time?
No, he don't need to miss work.
I wanted to get a bio for your review to know what he was like and where he works and what he does and who he is, so.
Who did he work for?
EKU, he's I don't have it right in front of me, it's in.
Director of Printing and Mail Services.
Yeah.
So this will complete the number on the
It gives them the full.
We're full now.
Committee completely fills them up with the appropriate staffing levels.
Thank you for taking that.
I think we need to get somebody from Junction anyway.
Phil, you got any questions?
No.
All in
All in favor of approving Mr. Watson to be on the Ethics Committee, and we'll send him a letter notifying him in writing of the court's acceptance. All those in favor of accepting him as a member of the Ethics Committee, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and that motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that. And this is a good step forward. Now, we're ready for Mr. Bruce Nichols to share with us Helping Hands presentation, who is one of our benefactors of our appropriations.
I'm here.
Good morning.
Well, good morning, Bruce.
How are you all?
Mr. Bruce Nichols, everybody.
Yeah, that's me. All the time. Y'all don't care, I'll take my mask off.
We don't care.
I've had 3 shots and
We can hear you better that way.
3 more, they would give it to me. But anyway, and I know you're busy, it'll take a lot of your time. But one thing I want to say, I want to thank the Fiscal Court for your support since 2011. It's been a long time, soon to be 11 years. Don't have any board members present, but each of y'all should have. There may have been one short.
You mean you don't have any board members present? I'm still on board.
Oh, yeah, I got you here, I forgot about that.
I am a voting member on this court.
That woke him up, so now I get to the main course. Now, Phil's been with us ever since our inception, and we certainly appreciate his help and his support, and I've seen him do some physical work over 11 years. He's quite active, and I really do appreciate him being on our board. And we haven't been meeting a lot due to COVID, kind of like you all, but we don't have a Zoom meeting, but we do emails and texts and what have you. So there's 2 other sheets of paper I'll talk about. One is dated January 31st, and it simply is the month-end report that I'm going to give Thursday to our remaining board members. But the reason I brought that's a summary basically of everything we did last year, the first 4 paragraphs, with a little outfit known as the Emergency Food and Shelter Program that we participate with also, that provides us some funds to buy food for people in Boyle and Mercer County. Well, it's really Boyle County and the city of Danville. Those last 3 items were where I bought some shoes for a lady, needed some diabetic shoes. Another check for box rent, and a lady by the name of Betty Reynolds calls me about every other month down on Lexington Avenue needing food, so I'll go to Kroger and bring her some food when she's in between checks. But the main course is the summary of the year-end activity and what we do. Every progress report that I write at the end of the day, I'll summarize them on one ledger form where you can hold it in your hand, go across there, and you won't take the time to read the 12 months, but you can see how I got there. And in Boyle County, last year, bottom line, we spent $3,548. Danville, about the same, $34.78. Mercer County, very little. We have some board members that live in Mercer County, and we do a little up there, not much, but that money comes from other sources, other than Boyle and Danville funds. So total for the year, we spent $7,522. On the fiscal court, y'all were kind enough to give us $2,000, and we appreciate that sincerely. We have other avenues of fundraising, donations from churches, individuals, in the food program, that we kind of thought that everybody's hungry. Hunger's out here, and it doesn't matter if you're, I like to say, red, white, green, pink, or blue, or where you live, you're going to eat. You know, we have a way to broker food, bring it into the county and the city. We're doing that, so we think we're making a difference there. But anyway, bottom line, we helped a total of 1,525 people last year. And we spent, Phil and I, roughly 80 hours doing that. So we thought our time was well managed. There's more hours than that, but that's just what it kind of tabulated up to be. So, well, thank you again.
A lot of people spending hours, it's not recorded, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We've never had a dime of expenses. Everything's been 100% passed through of the funds that we receive going to the individuals that need it. We partner with area churches, and I know Howard's familiar with one, Judge Howard, the Centenary United Methodist Church, what they call a volunteer and mission team. And basically, they're a group of retired Whirlpool employees that can do anything. So from time to time, and some of the money the court has given us, we will buy the materials and they'll build the ramps for people around town in the county that you see. We don't have a lot of manpower, but what we have, we think is good in other ways. So we partner with all the agencies that are here. We like to use our money wisely and with good stewardship, and I think it shows that we have. So I'm proud of our board, and thank you for your help. We appreciate it.
We thank you for your service.
Yeah, thank you for what you do, Bruce, and all of your group. And we appreciate you hitting those niches that other, maybe perhaps larger organizations don't get to.
Well, that's what we think. We feel like that there's people out there that, other agencies look to the line, they can exclude them. We look for the way that we can do it and go ahead and be successful, helping the people that really need the help.
Bruce, I might add that, maybe you know him, but Bruce works this every day. He's doing something, this 78 hours might be just his time.
It's just paperwork.
He does something, he's out taking food to somebody or checking on someone that's in all the time. And we appreciate the $2,000.
Oh, yeah.
I was disappointed it wasn't more than that. But
we can use it if we feel so gathered to give it. We'll be glad to put it to good use, that's for sure.
We're authorized to approve someone staying in a hotel. If they call us, and I've had Mike Wilder usually knows some people, and he called Bruce, or he'll call me, or someone will approve out at the Quality Inn, ain't it, Bruce?
Right, Super 8. Normal.
Super 8, yeah.
And the Quality Inn, they're owned by the same person.
Give us a real good discount on the room, so Bruce, I'm just, in front of the court, I'm just proud to be associated with you. You do a heck of a good job.
Well, thank you.
I don't know what we do without you right now.
We just try to make a difference to those that need the help the most. That's all I'm saying. So, thank you for what you all do.
Well, if you ever have need with people who need to stay in motels, on our church we put a lot of people up. If Phil, he's got my number, he can call.
Okay.
And our church, we do it all the time. So.
Okay. What church is that?
Devil Church of God, 4th Street.
We have a member that's real active too in the church over
Tommy
Junction.
McGurr.
Tommy
Pick
McGurr.
up a paperclip old chintzy finger right there. Tommy McGurr does that too with the First Baptist Church, I think it is, in Jackson City, and he's one of our members, so we kind of network together trying to make it
But
work.
we remember that because we can, if they'll do it, it'll save us money.
Well, that's true. All right.
I mean, I don't give them all to us to save money. We don't care to help out.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate that.
Bruce, thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Anybody got any other questions?
Jason, you got any questions?
Not a bit.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Appreciate it. Have a good day.
See you.
Good luck.
I don't want Jason to come down and ask me questions now when he sat there and didn't ask me.
Well,
Morning.
good morning.
Good morning. My favorite employee.
Your favorite magistrate.
I thought I was.
Oh, Ronnie, sometimes Phil's gotta be,
Oh, my goodness.
sometimes. Okay, I don't have my full-time ready, I'm still interviewing. But I do have a motion for my, part-time and for a new floater. So, I would like to hire James Andrew King, as my part-time. We talked about him the last time, I think we made a motion anyway. And then I did find a floater, his name is Ricky Conder. Used to work for Inter County out here, he's retired. So I was sort of blessed to find someone like him that actually wants to be a floater and don't. I offered him a full-time position, but he said, he told me to get away from him, so. He just retired, so.
I make a motion to approve them.
Do you
I'll
want-
second it.
On are the floater and part-time, do we know what the salary levels are and when do they start?
They'll both start Friday's a new pay period, and we do have them, but you know what, I didn't write them down, Judge, to be honest with you.
Okay. So they're-
I think it's 11 something, ain't it?
Be James Andrew King for the part-time. And for the floater to replace Sam Edmondson, be Ricky Condor.
Starting both at 11.
I think it's around 11 something, I believe.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so. I wanted 1150 sticks in my head, but I'm sorry. I apologize. It's my fault. I didn't write it down.
You just let me know that, Angie.
I will. I will.
All right, entertain a motion.
I make a motion, they're on second.
Okay, motion made by Magistrate Sammons, second by Magistrate Short to approve these two hires in the environmental services area. Any questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, the motion carries unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Mike Rogers is next.
Man, we're moving right along.
It can happen.
This guy.
May I have 30 seconds of personal privilege, please?
Oh, really?
Yes, sir.
I want to thank this gentleman right here, and I want you all to know about it. When my mother had an accident, we needed to get her to doctor over here. And we had it all set up with Garrett County EMS, and about 60 minutes before they would pick her up, we got a call saying they can't make the run. So I called this gentleman right here. I said, Mike, I need a favor. He said, well, we really not supposed to cross county lines. And I said, hey, I get it, no problem. He said, but tell you what, give me 5 minutes, I'll call you back. Called me back and he said, we'll be there. I said, are you sure? He said, we'll be there. And about 20 minutes later, there he was. And we were able to get her to the surgeon and then to the hospital and ching, ching, ching. But you talk about being a public servant. Yeah, this is a public servant. And I just wanted to make sure that I sit in front of him.
Appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
What's this?
Huh?
What's this?
Don't ever tell your wife you don't like her cooking.
There you go.
We were able to do that. We were able to do that through our mutual aid agreement with Lincoln County, and talking to the director, they didn't have the staff to do that run that day. So
How does the insurance work when you cross counties like that?
it just depends on the payer and things like that.
And how you write it up?
Well, it just depends on the insurance payer is the main thing. I don't remember what it was, but
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
yeah.
just was curious.
Mutual aid legitimizes that once he called the director over there, and they don't
Yeah.
have the capacity to meet the
Yeah.
tasker,
It
then
is through our mutual
with
aid.
his approval, we can go in and do it.
Well, we want to make sure we're insured, anywhere we go, so.
Yeah. Our first agenda item is consider our power load system for our new ambulance that's coming in on February 28th.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, motion made, and this, by the way, motion made by Magistrate Cullen, second by Magistrate Kaywood. This is a committee recommended approval.
Correct. This will outfit our new ambulance that we did the emergency request for, that they're actually gonna go pick up on February 28th.
28.
So,
Good thing we got that done.
It's
Yeah.
a great thing we got that done. So,
yeah.
So we down any more ambulances?
Yeah.
He's already stressed.
Yeah, we found out that EC6 needs a new transmission. It's going to be 2 months to be able to get that transmission. The good part about it is it's covered under the warranty, but the bad part
Supply chain.
It's down, been down.
Did you get the other vehicle we approved? Is she going to Cincinnati or somewhere to pick it up?
That's the one.
That's the one we're going to get on February 28th.
That's the one we've got. You know what you got in hand?
No,
28th.
February.
This month.
I thought that's one was all of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was gonna be March 1st, but we're getting it a day early. So,
Okay,
real early.
since there's no more discussions on the motion,
Lucky we can get one.
all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and that motion carries.
The next agenda item, I'll give Missy a copy because it has all the numbers on there for you, make it easy for you, is consider lieutenant promotions. We had a testing process that Steve was involved in. We had there's an interview, an oral interview, and then there's a written test. And those scores are compiled, and that's how we get our officer promotion. So. So I want to consider the promotion of Devin Mukes, Billy Crockett, Amanda Taylor, and Hannah Spaniard, and effective today.
What about Wagner? Did you mention her?
Sorry, who?
Wagner not on there,
What do you mean?
on promotions.
Now, these are the top four. These are the top four candidates. That's
On to lieutenant?
that's for lieutenant. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other comment? Let's see.
You know, it's based on the interview and the written scores. You compile them together, and these are the top four. So there's no.
Time don't mean anything, you gonna add that in there.
Well, there's a process, and
There
you
you
know the process is what it is. You know, I say that there's three things to be a supervisor. There's three things. One is you got to have intrinsic motivation. So that means the supervisor shouldn't have to ask you to do things. You should just do it yourself. You know, take it on yourself. Two is you got to be smart and make good decisions. And three is seniority. Seniority doesn't matter, but it's if the first two don't work, then the third one.
And who are they again, if you don't mind?
Here you go. It's on this paper. Here.
I'll make the motion to approve those.
Second. What's the increase of the salary?
We have a motion to approve.
I don't have that sheet. Yes, sir.
By Magic Gay, second by Magic Cullen. And now we can discuss it.
Committee reviewed this morning.
Right.
And recommend the
Recommend.
promotion of all four to lieutenant. Is that correct?
Correct. And I think it is important to have a good solid process in the testing and the interview and all those other factors you mentioned.
The process helps to secure the highest quality of individuals that we can assess in our organization to fulfill those capacities.
It's a fair process.
The more you're educated, you know.
How many did you have as applying for lieutenant?
I honestly, I can't remember right off.
There must have been several then.
Yeah, there was at least 6 I know.
Yeah.
It's probably more than that. But off the cuff, I can't remember how many.
I just seen, I know this one that the paramedic have been for a long time. I was hoping she'd be promoted, but I should have named on here.
Yeah, and you know, with feet, you know, I've talked to everybody that I talked to all the supervisors. I talked to everybody that was a candidate in that process. Got some feedback. I think the only thing that we could, if we want to change the next time, which will have to come here to be approved first, we would add a third layer, and the third layer would be to let the EMS supervisors weigh in on whether, you know, they thought that person was a good candidate or not. But right now, this is the policy. This is the process we've done. This is the third one that I've done. So,
Who all votes on these people?
So there's a written test, and then there's a panel. Major Wesley was on it. Steve Griffith was on it. Amber Hamlin, who she's the emergency room director, was on the panel, and that's who made up the panel. So their scores with the written scores were tabulated together, and then whoever the top 4 is.
They do the interviewing also, I assume.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great process.
If it works, don't break it.
You might note that our new HR director was a part of this.
Yeah, and that's where it should be.
Where it should be. That's why we did what we did.
There you go.
Any more discussions on the motions before the court to approve the 4 for promotion to lieutenant? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. And the motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
If the court will oblige, we talked about in our EMS committee this morning that we have some part-time hires that we'd like to be considered, but it's up to you if you want to would be willing to hear it or not.
I was a member of the committee, I was participant in the committee this morning, and I think my assessment was that with the urgency of need that we have on a shortfall of personnel qualified and trained in EMS, if we find an acceptable candidate, we need to consider those opportunities in live time rather than, you know, maybe wait 2 weeks to advertise or whatever. That's just my personal recommendation because of the service they provide and the quality that I entrust, that we all entrust to Mike Rogers to uphold. So
I think this could fall back to your committee.
I think that's what I'm
You know, if
saying.
they,
Yeah.
you know, to me, if they agree,
The judge
And
and
this
I
would
was
make-
this morning, who are they? Let's go with it.
yeah.
yeah,
So
Let-
if the committee
Yeah,
wants to take that on,
So EMT Will Ellis and paramedic Bryce Ellis, both considered to be part-time. It will be at 12, Bryce will be at 15, effective immediately.
I'll make a motion for
Second.
motion to approve made by Magistrate Sammons and seconded by Magistrate Cullen. I think.
Yep.
Okay. Any discussions, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Appreciate it.
I don't know if y'all noticed, Mike is normally a lot more chipper and happy when he comes in here, got a lot of things going on. This man is very stressed right now. There is a huge issue across this country with trying to get EMS staff. And he sends us all a lot of good information that I hope we're all reading about problems that are coming about. And if we kind of can get hopefully in front of this with his leadership, we'll be better off for the people that put us here. But I hate seeing them stressed like this.
I do too.
You know, we're hiring because we lost some people that went somewhere else, and it's a difficult market. Not only does he have to compete with other EMS agencies in the area, but he also has to compete with the hospitals, they unfortunately have a lot more money to offer than we can a lot of times. So
that's why we pay Mike extra.
We have a huge scarcity nationwide, in particular in Kentucky, much like what Mississippi has gone through. We don't want to follow in Mississippi's path and get into a position where our paramedics are extremely rare, capabilities that this state has because of numbers. So we just need to be very cognizant of that dilemma and work toward minimizing its negative impact on our populace.
I'd like to dovetail into that, Judge, because I was so pleased that Mike got a hold of a couple of us. And since I'm on the legislative committee of KMCA and I'm very involved with the KCO legislative folks, Mike got a hold of me about House Bill 296, and it was about to be on a fast track. I had no idea until he got a hold of me, and we dug into it. I worked with Julie, I worked with the lobbyist for both of those entities, and by a very fortuitous circumstance, years ago, I knew the new president of the Kentucky Hospital Association, so I was able to lend some intelligence about what might go on from KHA, because they were trying to take away, not only manpower, but I think they were trying to take away what we know as our EMS circumstances today. And if Mike hadn't lit that candle for us to get involved, that legislation might have already gotten out of the House and been over to the Senate in no time at all. So thank you for that. And then on a personal note, in the worst of the stress time of the ice, I had a call from someone, and you can't get much farther out in Boyle County than this elderly lady who has an infirm son who had come out of the hospital with COVID. And not only did Mike get involved and assure me that we would find a way to get out there if he had an emergency to get back to the hospital, but he personally said that he'd be glad to call and talk to the lady. But she was stressed out to the point where I knew she was calm at that point, knowing that she can get a hold of Mike at a moment's notice. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And all your staff through the ice storm.
I just think this is one of those agencies that we have here that, Mike, I don't remember the last time I've ever gotten a complaint about your outfit. We can't say that about many of our other services we provide. Not saying that they do, anyone else does a bad job or whatever, but I've since I've been here, I've never had a problem where someone said, oh, that EMS is this or that. You know, I've never had a complaint about anyone in your department, and I appreciate your hard work, and I know you take this to heart. So
Yeah, and it's, you know, one of the first things I wanted to do when I was promoted to the director was just to create a culture of customer service. And it sounds silly in EMS because they can't call anybody else, but we should act like that they can. And you know, going that extra mile to be able to create that customer service experience to where they're happy and there's so often we hear stories just like what we heard today, but we can't do it without our dedicated employees.
Right.
It's 100%.
I like agree with Jason. I've been here
Me too.
longer, I guess, than anybody else.
Missy, make sure that goes in the notes.
And I've never heard, I get calls, but they're congratulating the service.
Yep.
And I experienced that myself once, if you recall, my granddaughter being here.
Yep.
And
I think we all have.
so they really professional people, and we're fortunate to have you guys.
And we couldn't do it without the support. I mean, ordering the new ambulance,
Well, we
doing
gotta
the
take
things
care
that
of
we
you.
need
I wish we
to.
could
We
give
couldn't
you-
do it without you, so it's a
We
team.
pay you twice what we're paying you.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mike.
What?
One question.
Yes, sir.
Who all got that news article from Mississippi?
The only, I think I may have sent it to Tom and maybe Jamie, but that's
There's
the
an
only.
article, there's a big article in
but
Lexington
I
Herald about
wasn't-
it also.
I don't know if I have everybody's email. So
If we can,
I can
I'd
send
like
it to
for
Missy,
everybody
and
on
she-
court to read that article about Mississippi.
Yeah.
It's, you've heard it over time in this room, but in Mississippi, it's interesting, and I think it will inform everybody a little bit more that it's happening every place.
yeah, because I don't think I have everybody's email.
Please.
I'll send it.
By the way, just point of clarity on our first vote on the striker lift for the ambulance. There is a sole source letter in the file that attaches that, just for court knowledge on that.
Thank you all.
Thank
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike.
Wayne?
Speaking of their good work, I think we still owe them lunch. We talked about doing something
That's
for
correct, yeah. Thank you.
Dwayne, Sheriff's Department, and EMS. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, so
Pizza Day.
let's put
At
something
the end of
together.
the day, we'll discuss it before we leave the room.
Okay, I got money on me.
I got plastic.
Whatever works.
All
Whatever
right,
it's gonna be.
Blaine.
We have 2 items, it's very short and sweet.
All right.
We advertised, or you approved last meeting for us to be able to advertise for stone bids and for asphalt bids. We received a bid from Coel Stone for the stone, and I think you have that in front of you. You have the prices for each class. We'll do them one at a time. So that's the stone bid.
I entertain a motion to approve the stone bid because they are separate.
So moved.
Made by Maxwell, second by Magistrate Short. Any comments, discussions on the stone bid as presented? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. The motion carries unanimously. Next.
And then the single bid we received for asphalt is from the Allen Company. I think you have a copy of that as well. And that's for the calendar year of 22 also.
Need to make another
Yes, sir.
motion? Make a motion.
Motion made by Magistrate Short and second by Magistrate Sammons. Is there any comments, questions, or discussion on the asphalt bid? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
Short and sweet.
Short and sweet.
Go back, see us.
All right.
Thank you.
Is that the nickname for Ronnie and Phil now? Short and sweet?
Have,
Am I sweet?
any folks in the county filed with the mailboxes that were knocked down that you're aware of?
Not on county roads.
They've had the opportunity, and I know the state's coming through. If you're not aware of that, get with me and I'll show you what you need to do. If
We
you have
got
a good
one,
stitch.
we got one more that was put up, but it's falling back down, so we got to re-engage on it.
Mine went down twice, so.
But I do want to compliment our road department throughout this last bit, the salting and the clearing that they have done to keep us and get us back moving as a county as quick as safely possible is phenomenal and off the charts. And I've been out there visiting with that group, and they run all hours of the night, come back and take what I would refer to as a combat nap, get some rest, get a little bite of food, and go back out and do it a second time to make sure that we get these roads covered. And they do an excellent job. I've gotten several calls positively commenting their efforts. And I need to pass that on to everybody out there.
Salt supply okay?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Could you pass that on to the state?
Pass on the state?
Yeah.
We could try.
And there's some monsters out there for potholes. There's one.
Yeah.
Oh, they got real bad after this.
Oh my gosh, one guy didn't see it, but right there on the corner, right by Fazoli's, the left turn lane, heading to left on 150 towards Stanford. Man, there's a thing about this big, about that deep.
That's one good thing you salt does for you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It helps with that, yes.
Yeah, it does.
I'll
Makes it worse.
We get to it before we get a
Liquid's even worse on it.
before we get a tree planted in there.
Yes.
Just hoping
And
it's
they
warmer.
passed a few, I think, already.
I'm sure they have.
Yeah.
Gets warm enough, we
There's
can
some
make some
big ones
blacktop.
coming up, though.
Yeah.
Is it possible, with the temperature getting up near 50 this week, to patch anything at all?
Deep potholes. We can't patch.
I'm sure you and I have talked about the 1 inch.
Yeah, we can't patch the 1 inches.
Yeah.
That's just a list going around for anyone that wants to
We would
sign
have
up
to
to give money for
kind of
that.
get allocated
For EMS.
Patch over it for us.
Public Works,
These
sure.
2K.
And I haven't had a chance to go to the branch yet.
All right, appreciate it. Let Brian know he's up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jamie and I gave
Appreciate
50 total.
Can't believe Jamie ain't.
Call me a good day.
We're gonna discuss this later.
It doesn't have to go around, I just wanted to forward money since I don't like holding on to money. Especially other people's money.
That's Robert, huh?
I'm like, I'll win $20. That's all I've got too.
I ain't got 20.
When you leave them for all saints.
For what?
Who days?
We're going to California.
Super Bowl.
No, I've only got 20.
Well, we have lots of Wagners out there that work out there.
Yes, sir, you're on.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. So, morning, first item on the agenda is a policy, and I'd like to make a request when this is entered into the minutes, because we get inspected on this by the jail inspectors. So, we're not changing any of our existing policies and procedures, everything's the same, but we are adding this as a new policy, so in the minutes, if it can reflect that if you all approve this, that it's
It's an
approved.
addendum to the existing.
Well, yes, we're adding a new policy. You all should have this in your notes. It's the reimbursement by prisoner cost of confinement. Basically, you all familiar with the Supreme Court ruling we had a month or two ago on how we could collect? So we started doing a research, KRS. So basically what I did is I combined 2 KRSs on this, and it said in there the governing body can approve this. So this is what we're going to do. At the last board meeting, they discussed that they're working on legislation, but I didn't get the number, the House bill or Senate bill number, to try to fix this. But this kind of gives us some cover on how we're going to do this and work with the courts. So of course, we still can't collect any fees until they've been convicted or sentenced and all that kind of stuff. So, but this just kind of gives us some safety, some room.
Daniel Elliott mentioned this morning before he left that we're all invited tomorrow, and he's going to host any of us who go to Frankfurt to be part of the discussion in his office personally, as well as the bigger group that's going to meet about legislation. So we'll make sure that this gets on his agenda, and I hope everybody can be there.
Yeah, I've got a board meeting tomorrow, then I'm going to the KCO thing, but it'll be after that, so if you all need a copy, I'll give you this.
Are you going to get a chance to join in with us, or?
I won't until after our board meeting. I'll be at the KCO, the reception, the
Tomorrow
legislative.
evening?
Tomorrow evening, yes, that's all, that'll be only thing I can.
He'll be there. We can gather up there.
He likes shrimp.
So you're just incorporating
So
this
that-
into your existing.
So we're gonna add this into our policy, book,
What's
our policy manual.
the current per diem you guys charge?
It's, we got a $28 booking fee, and then we're charging, I think it's, I'd have to go back and check on the numbers. I had those, and I've looked at so many numbers this morning, I don't want to give you the wrong one. But it's not over 50, which is what the KRS says.
If we wanted to increase that though, the fiscal court would have to approve you increasing it up to 50, is that right?
It's usually set by, yes, we discuss it in joint jail, and then we set the fees every year, and then that's what it is. I'm drawing a blank, I apologize. I know that.
I'll make a motion that we approve this policy.
I just want to say on that second page, no big deal, I wrote it on Brian's, it says 441.0405, 10A, and it's actually 8A, but other than that.
Okay.
Thank you, with that correction. Motion with that correction.
This is 8A here.
Yes.
And I'll change that in our, when I add it to the policy,
Okay.
put the date and stuff on.
Okay. So we have a motion made by Max Gay to
Has the
approve
committee been
policy.
over this?
Yes, I've discussed it with them, and then the county attorney, both county, have looked over it.
And that is a recommendation of the committee and the county attorney?
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Manganiello. Any discussion? Questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
And the second one on there, today my total is 225. Department of Corrections is 130, Boyle is 58, Mercer's 35, Housing 4 for other counties, and then we have 15 in quarantine.
Is that number going down now?
It's starting to go down.
Good.
It is. Of course, they said the next variant coming around stronger than this one, so I'm hoping the warm weather will change, and we've not had anybody with any significant illness. Basically just runny nose, little fever, that kind of stuff.
How did the vaccine inoculation go with the inmates?
We coordinate with the health department when they come out, and what we'll do is we'll go around and get a list of who wants it. That way, when they show up, they know how much to bring and go. So it's usually we have several want to take it, and then of course our state inmates that work are required by the Department of Corrections to have the vaccine before they're eligible to work. So most of those guys, if they want to work, they'll take it. And then you all should have two other handouts in there that look like this with our totals. So if you come down, probably like 5, it says seen by physician or physician providers, 119, that's up from last year. And then the second copy is last year's number. Seen by medical staff or sick call, 8,566. That is way up. The number of other sexually transmitted diseases are treated, 43. That's double from what it has been in the past. Our HIV patients, that's way down. Inmates placed on suicide watch, 158. Inmate on detox protocols is 272. That's down just a little. Meds administered, so 1,713. And then our medically assisted treatment patients is 9, and that's so that kind of just gives you an idea for the past 12 months of the health of our inmates and where we're at. So that way, when you're looking at the medical costs and stuff, you can kind of have an idea.
I'm a little confused on the, we've got 2 sheets, and both of them are from January to December, same number.
Well, one is for 2020 and one is for 21.
Okay.
If you look up in the top
Yeah,
right.
I see it now. Boy, you try to confuse us, we don't need 2020.
Well, that just so you can see the numbers from last year and how they've changed.
I haven't read it, but in this morning's Lexington paper,
yeah,
there's a big article on detention centers and personnel and a lot of the issues, so I just
And you know, that's one of the
reverting
things.
to it, that it's a lot of things that you've said, but they did evidently a lot of research, and so you might be interested in me.
And yes, and, you know, as I meet with the board, you know, every jail across the state is having problems finding employees.
Yeah.
And now, Department of Corrections, I found this out yesterday, Department of Corrections has raised their starting salary to $20 an hour. So, you know, we have North Point in our backyard, so that's gonna make it even tougher.
It's interesting how they can find money for their facilities, but not when they're housing
not for the
their inmates
Yeah.
at our facilities.
And they also have the hazardous duty retirement, which we don't have. And, you know, it's just, we move one step forward and then get knocked 2 steps backwards.
Makes a difference, you got funding.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure everybody was aware, but, you know, that.
One good, only thing positive about it, they can only hire so many.
But there's only so many that want to do this.
There you go. Yeah.
It's a small pool.
That's right.
So it takes a special person, you know, to work behind the wall 12 hours a day and
I don't believe I don't want to do it.
I know I would.
that's all I have. If there's any questions.
Any questions? All right, well, thank you so much, good to see you, appreciate it, have a good day.
Be careful, see you tomorrow night.
Thanks, Brian.
Hey.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. You making money for us, Rusty, I think?
We are trying. Yeah, I just sent out the year-end report. Took me a little while to get it all compiled. Hopefully everybody looked at it, and I'm just here to answer any questions if you got any.
Lumber coming down, so we see some.
Well, it was, now it's going back up. Very close to last year. I think there's like a $3,500 difference. A little less this year. We did about 13 less permits. But still, with COVID and supply chain issues, and that's a big issue, but I'm really surprised we're doing as good as we are. The way I've got it figured, I've got about 66% of everybody estimates their cost of construction that they know of. And just out of that 66%, the estimated cost of all construction so far has been about $32 million. And it's probably a lot more than that. Not everybody gives me that number. It's basically a voluntary number, but I try to get a good handle on how much is being constructed and how much the construction cost and everything. But if you got any questions, I'm be glad to answer.
These last 2 years have both looked like they've been pretty active.
You're very active, yes.
How do they, I was kind of curious as to how they stack up like over a 10-year. These have been pretty active years.
It's like I said, we had just a little dip last year, but the last 3 or 4 years, it's just building up, going up. We don't know what this year will be. So far, it's been pretty good. We've got, we're going to have some new developments coming in. We've got like 2 new subdivisions that'll be starting pretty soon over in Junction City. I think they're going to add some more. Danville's where the problem is. There's nowhere to build. Boyle County has outdone Danville pretty good so far because naturally that's where the land is. But we've got all kinds of houses going up, Shelby Green, the Hunt Farm, and that's just what we need, more places to build. That's one of that and the supply issues, and we're actually having people talk to me more about just it's hard to get people to work. People are you can call. I was just talking to Quince Arnold outside a minute ago. He's been waiting months to get a plumber, and that's going to be more of a problem as time goes by.
Skilled labor?
Yeah.
Skilled labor.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's a great career right now.
Are they getting ready to start building right behind Hardee's?
Not anytime soon, I don't
Okay,
think.
what about on Park Hills up in that area? Easy to see.
Yeah, that's one of the subdivisions that will be starting.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
That's good.
I think 66 lots in that one.
Yeah, I think they're gonna put, what, 10, maybe 10 houses in it right now?
Could be. Yeah, that's, and then Shelby Green, they've just surveyed all that off in the back, so
Yeah.
they'll be putting roads and things in there. And then I just heard the other day there's gonna be another subdivision or something across from Shelby Green in that field or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So, don't know much about that yet, but.
No,
But in Danville, like I said, Boyle County's outpacing Danville because there's more room and places.
Shelby Green's not in Junction city limits, is it?
Yes.
It is.
Right in it.
Right.
Rusty,
That's,
Now,
I'm getting constituent concerns about the fire out on Miners Branch. Can you take a look at that and see what we can do? Because I'm not sure the cleanup has even started yet.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
I think I know where it was, so, the old store thing.
Yeah.
Tommy.
There were people living in there.
Yeah, we've had that problem.
Yeah,
In some different thing, yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah, that
Boyle
needs
County.
to be checked out though, since the fire really did damage to that building.
It's amazing what people live in today. That's
Rest of them, just 3 buildings, them, commercial demolitions. What, you know what?
Oh, gosh, well, it slipped my mind. You about to talk about in the county or?
Well, it says you got three county, says commercial demolition, 3 of them in Danville.
I got it. It has slipped my mind exactly who it was. So.
What's that now that, I'm sorry?
3
demolitions.
buildings were torn down.
One is the bread store.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Old
Houstonville Road.
bread store. I think there's
Off
a car
top of my
wash
head.
that's gonna go there.
Car
Yeah.
wash. And, if you like Taco Tico, that's coming.
Yeah.
Taco
Those
chicken,
start-
we need to know taco.
They had one once before.
We did.
What about, Chick-fil-A?
nope.
Well,
Get that?
They're trying real hard, but we don't fit the model.
I was told that if you try to get a Chick-fil-A, you have to put up everything. You gotta pay for the franchise, you have to buy the land, build a building, so I'd say we're talking more than 5 million
Well-
to even get started.
Well, they also have, they want to be within so many miles of a interstate and various other things. We don't fit the mold. The guy that comes in the food truck would love to build one, but I don't think he can get corporate to buy in on it, so.
This building moving on Harrisburg Road.
I saw that, yeah. The one thing we do need to talk about while you're here, though, is, and General and I have had this conversation, while it's good in some ways that these things are happening out in the county, this is gonna be a strain on our infrastructure. We, when we just had Dwayne in here, we just had Angie in here, the more people that kind of go out into the county, the more services they're going to request, and that really is gonna impact us and how we do business, that's more roads for Dwayne to clear and more areas for Mike and EMS. So we kind of have to think about this stuff. And we may have to, we're gonna probably have to start hiring more people at some point. So we have to start thinking about that and plan for that as this building goes on.
Some of the stuff will be like the new things in Junction, I guess they'll be in the city limits there for roads and all, but EMS, of course, will still have to get, but I guess that's a good problem to have in a way.
Well, I mean, the roads, whoever's putting the subdivision in is gonna put the roads and everything in.
Yeah, but we have to care for them after.
Yeah, once they're,
right.
If they get turned over eventually, if they're the way they're supposed to be when they put in.
Yeah.
But that's down the road piece.
But overall, it's been very surprising with COVID and supply issues. I think we'd be doing even more if we had the people out there to do it.
Yeah.
For instance, like contractor licenses, I think that's going really well, but you've got the same people once they get it, and that's fine, but they're doing 20 jobs, so, if they can get it, but I think we'd get a whole lot more building if there were available tradespeople out there, and I don't know what it's gonna be like in a few years.
Yeah.
If,
Yeah, it's definitely.
All right, anybody got any more questions for Rusty? Thank you, Rusty.
Yes, thank you all.
Have a great day.
Yeah, Rusty, let me know on that.
I sure. All right, Darlene.
Hi, that's me. All right. Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you to everyone here for being patient with me. Today is actually my 3-month anniversary here. So,
We're glad to have you.
a lot has happened in 3 months. We've endured snow and ice and days off, and 8, I think, holidays. So there's been a lot going on in the last few months. So it's been a learning curve for sure. I did want to let everybody know I've got all the months closed up to date, everything including January closed out. I did, right before everything started, I gave everyone copies of 3 papers. 2 are summaries. One is from the first quarter, one is from the second quarter. So these are my quarterly reports that were sent into DLG, the summary pages. I just wanted you all to be able to compare first and second quarter. You're going to see receipts, obviously, on your first quarter. We're going to be a little higher. That was ARPA money. So not quite as high on the second quarter, but understandable. Second, on your disbursements, second quarter, a little bit less. I don't have all the reasons for all of those because I wasn't here the first quarter, so I can't explain everything. But if anybody has any questions, we can go back and look into more detail. I'll be happy to entertain any of that. Also, any questions?
I like the way the jail fund dropped. 3 cents down to 2.
So, let's see. On the, yeah, I don't know why that only showed up as 2 cents on there. Because when I went back and double checked, it actually should be, I don't know if it just didn't get entered in time for that report to be printed, so that's why it didn't show. So the next quarter, it'll probably show us 4 cents on that. But that's basically interest on that checking account. So, also, we have, I've been working on going back through clearing up some reconciliations and getting some things just checked over on to get ready for these quarterly reports, making sure everything's right. We did run into a couple of things that went back into last fiscal year that needed to be corrected. Some things that came out of the general fund went into the, instead should have been out of the joint jail fund, so that's going to make a difference. Also found some things that I'm going to have to do a little write-off. They date back several years on the bank reconciliations, and they deal with outstanding checks. Without going back quite several years for a $20 check, it's really not worth it to take the manpower. So we're just going to write those off, put those on a list, keep them for future knowledge if anything ever comes up. We don't have any of the outstanding on the statements, so we feel like maybe it's a very big possibility new checks were written. These checks just maybe weren't voided. So
Or turn on over delinquent bills.
yeah, it's, well, and they're not delinquent. They're checks that we wrote that were never cashed. But for the most part, they're small amounts. They're not anything major, so no substantial anything. Also, last time I was asked about the reserve accounts, and I did not have my handy dandy report with me, so I could not answer that question. So I made a list for everybody of all the reserve accounts. If it said the word reserve in it, I wrote it down. and I wanted everybody to see where they were.
Yeah, this is good to have here.
So, anyway, I wanted everybody to be able to check those. If, you know, of course, obviously, some of them are gonna be changing because of the election, the new voting machines when they came in. I did not include anything out of the ARPA, anything that was supposed to happen today. This was just off of the list that I printed Thursday before we left. Let's see, checking my handy dandy list here. We had our first jail budget meeting yesterday.
Yes.
Went over a few things, got a few things added. It went really well, very smooth. Not a whole lot to add. We have joint jail meeting this Friday. It's at 10 o'clock.
In Mercer County this week.
Yes, in Mercer County this month, so we'll be traveling there. Also, I've got a tentative budget list of meetings set up basically for the middle of March. Wednesdays, I think we've sent out all the invites by email, but if anybody else wants to see when those are, just let me know, I've got them. But I thought we'll get them all taken care of during the middle of March, and that way we've got plenty of time to make any adjustments as needed.
I noticed Public Works is the March the 30th, so from the email.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I put that on for 9 a.m.
Right.
on March 3rd.
Well, you mentioned mid-March and everything.
Yeah, well, I did the second, third, and fourth, because there are five Wednesdays in March, so I just went second, third, and fourth. So the three, and I tried to keep it in the mornings. And then the next Finance Committee meeting would be April 13th officially. Let's see. Also, while I'm here, I wanted to just go over, if no one's worked on our system before, and me being new to the system, it's been a trial and error, and it is part of the reason why it's taken me a little bit longer, but we do have DOS-based software. And if
KVS.
Yeah, it's called KVS. If you've not worked on it, I haven't worked on it in 15 plus years. So it's been a little cumbersome. We have been looking into other software. Personally, I've looked into 4 different ones. One that I was more familiar with that would not be a good fit for here. Second would be much larger than what we would need. A third was something that we didn't really feel had the security basically that we would want and need. So yeah, and we finally found number 4. We
just right.
The right one. So I think that everyone who has seen it is very happy with it. I haven't heard any negative feedback on it. Everybody seems to be quite happy with the idea. From talking to them, we should be able to get a net 60 on our time, which is going to be a huge help towards, the money. It's not cheap, but it's not $1 million. So we're talking.
It's needed.
It is very well needed. It's
the thought of what we used to use still keeps me up at night, and the fact that we've had to have several people come in and try to understand what happened and why is crazy.
Well, the really frustrating piece for the staff that uses it daily is you can go through and do a bunch of keystroke entries into it and be going cooking along real quick and lost everything for hours of work just because of the system weaknesses.
I actually,
it's terribly frustrating.
Yeah, I actually just had to make a phone call this week because Missy was entering something. It completely went out. This was a month or so ago. It completely went out. When it came back up, she re-entered it, not knowing that it actually saved it in the system. So it was doubled.
When we called,
so
they told us it was gone.
Yeah. So we actually had to call and they had to fix it on their end. This
It's
is.
nightmarish.
This is a Windows-based version, so it's far more user-friendly. Occupational tax looked at it and said, wow, this is great, because it's actually gonna give us a list of everybody that's outstanding. They don't have to hunt and peck. Everything is payroll when it's entered, doesn't have to be entered by one person and then brought down and be entered again by somebody else in his journal entries. It's just gonna shoot straight through into general ledger. This is so definitely needed, and I implore each one of you to please consider this.
Can we give them information that they have not yet received on the different modules and the cost estimates and stuff?
Absolutely.
The reason I asked Darlene to make this presentation, because this is way significantly much needed improvement after all the staff that utilized the software that we use for our accounting, invoicing, billing, everything.
Well, what do we wait for? Looks like we need to order.
Well, I want you to have as much information as you feel like you need to
Well,
have.
if it keeps going down, I mean, it's something we gotta
We
have.
still got okay it, so.
Yeah, I know we have.
Do it.
Okay.
Let's give us a price per module and then a total.
Okay. Our annual product pricing, this is where we would start off at, but this is also still on the 60 days. So if we even signed up today, it's not due for another 60 days. This is right at $27,000. It's $26,981.
A year?
This is a year. But this also covers business, it's finance, it's fixed assets, it's payroll, it's purchase orders, it's our whole general ledger. It covers everything, incorporates everything. Everything rolls straight into general ledger, and it's all one. And there's not the duplication of work. There's the ease of just lists and reports and formats.
Not that I want to get rid of anyone, but, I mean, that's about the price of probably what we're spending on an extra person having to do extra work per year to essentially, like, because of the antiquated system that we have.
This
So
is
we-
a per year cost or a one-time cost?
That is an annual product. That's
20
an annual product price.
It says
Don't change
26.
from one year to the next.
That would be,
It's a licensing fee.
yes, that's a licensing.
You know, sometimes when you start off with something higher, and then when you, every year you got it, gets cheaper.
I don't
so-
remember it being that high in our previous discussion, Carly.
That is, yeah, that's the annual product.
I don't think it's really that bad,
The
to be honest with you.
It's not.
I think,
I was expecting a lot more, so.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe that what we're paying now is close to half of that.
That's what I was gonna look at.
I think we're close
We're
to
still
about
paying for that?
13,000.
Yeah, we have to
for
pay
that.
every year.
Oh my God. So what do you need from me? Do you need a motion to move forward on this? Because
I was gonna say, well,
Jeez.
I've got the,
Let's
I've got
go
the-
ahead and finish out
the
your.
purse now, because this, I mean, in total cost, you know, I'm not gonna hide on anything, but it can be incorporated little by little. I'm looking at a total of right at 100,000, including that 20,000.
But that's not a annual cost.
But no, this is to add on where we would start with our general ledger, right at $16,000. So that's gonna start, that is their time to take this 20-year-old system, I don't know exactly how old.
they gotta pull people out of retirement to understand that
They've
system.
got to move all of that over and incorporate it, make it into a Windows-based program. It's gonna take a little time. Then they have to train us. Then I wanted to add on the purchase orders, get those all going so that they'll pull all through, because part of the general ledger is the invoicing process area. So purchase orders will pull all through, so everything will invoice. Then I wanted to add into that the occupational tax. The purchase order area is $2,100. Business tax is almost $22,000. But it does a lot. If you had sat through the demo, it does a lot.
Will this incorporate in with the changes that Bill's made to the website?
Yes.
allowing,
This is cloud-based. This is gonna open, Bill was thrilled. I mean, this is gonna open up a lot of extra room on our servers and everything. The fourth area I wanted to introduce was payroll migration. That's 17,000. Then fixed assets, 5,000, or 3,100, I'm sorry. Those don't have to go on immediately, but, you know, it'd be great to have those where they'll pull straight through too.
Yeah.
Then,
Can I ask you a question?
Uh-huh.
If you remember when we were talking with Paula, the more modules that we were adding, the better cost we would get. Did she comment on that again with you when you got the final cost of the 100,000?
we did not talk about that.
Okay.
No, but I mean, that is a possibility also. But, and then the other cost, and I don't have the separate sheet in front of me, and that actually might have made the difference where we added on human resources.
Just a question, because I agree with everybody, we desperately need to make this move in this transition, and it's not going to be inexpensive, but have you already put this out for bids, or do we need to put this out for bid? And how does that work within the process?
I was gonna say, as far as, I don't know as far as the bids go, because we've gotten,
We got 4 quotes.
we've gotten quotes from, yeah.
You can put it out for bid, new, but it's gonna take whatever
Well,
long.
I just want to make sure we're doing it correctly.
Yeah.
And aren't challenged by anybody after the fact.
I do
So-
too, I do too.
So I just want to make sure.
So we're looking at 100,000.
First year.
First year.
First year.
But, over net 60, roughly that 60, first, out of the first 60,000, that is actually the training and them implementing and getting everything moved over. Well, 60,500. That is all gonna be on net 60, and it is all as it's added in. So it's as they train, as they work their hours, then they invoice. So it's gonna be little at a time. It's not like they're gonna say, oh, here's your, invoice for 15,000. It doesn't work that way.
Would ARPA money cover this, Judge?
Don't believe so. Let me make a statement here that Missy just brought to my attention for whatever it's worth. This is a software upgrade from the same company we're currently contracted with. KBS's new Windows-based version is Silverbrook. Springbrook. So it is merely migrated from a DOS-based program to a Windows-based program. We do have 4 quotes in our examination of seeing what's out there from Fiscal Soft and some others out there. So, it's whatever the court wants to do. I want to keep it totally 100% above board, transparent, and legal, but this is something that I see we need. What I would like to do, if the court would give me some indulgence on this, is to come back with a very firm first-year cost, itemized by module, what it is year 2, year 3, because once we buy the modules, they start dropping off, if I'm not mistaken. Some of the cost, annual. And I would like to be clear on what that annual repeat cost is. But just to give a point of clarity, on this 20-some-year-old plus KBS that we're utilizing, we pay $51,600 a year.
Sorry, what?
And the cutoff could be instant, correct?
It was copyrighted in '99.
$51,600 a year.
I actually was on the phone trying to get some things straightened out as far as something in the system I couldn't figure out how to do. And when I was on the phone with the lady, she said, I'm sorry it's taken me a minute. She said, I only work with this about once a month. She said, you all are one of the last 4 people that have this.
In the nation. So, what I would like to do with the court's permission is to give you a point of clarity, even if we have to call a special court session to do it. I want to give you some information in front of you with the cost, when it's broken down, when it's due, when it's not due, that sort of thing. Give you the whole spectrum on what the different modules are and how they interface and what we want to do, and give you as much information. In fact, we'll bring a representative of Springbrook in here for a 15, 20-minute presentation to the court,
Be longer than that.
or however long is necessary. But I think this is essential to the operation of our county government to come into the 20th century.
We're dragging a ball and chain.
We are dragging a ball and chain.
So since this is the same, when did we pay them last?
We have to go back and look.
I don't know.
So my question will be, if, since this is same company, will they, I guess essentially, will they prorate us
Credit us that.
for part that we've already paid? Because depending on when we paid them,
I don't
this
think it's
actually,
a question we've asked, but it's worth asking.
this may actually pay for itself.
And actually, I was gonna say, I'm sorry.
No, you go.
Actually, I was gonna say, it's gonna take several months for this to all get moved over. So I feel like when we looked back that maybe this was paid in August or June for some reason. I'm not sure.
So we're almost.
We're on about a 6-month conversion.
So-
But over our
But-
term,
but
we
it's
spent
gonna-
$200,000 on an antiquated software. We've always kind of talked about upgrading, but said the expenses would be so much more, but we're actually finding out it would have been a lot less. So we would have saved,
Yeah, we're paying $51,000.
we would have saved the county, you know, saved.
Oh, it's a year, okay. That makes a difference.
Also, guys, with KVS to Springbrook, we're gonna be able to utilize their customer service team that we're accustomed to working with currently.
We already know the people.
So we already know the people, so the process would be a lot smoother that way.
But if the court, if it suits
Yes.
the court, I would
Yes.
prefer to get all the information very soon, have a special call meeting.
Yes.
Discuss singularly this issue in detail, and then move forward.
I make a motion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a motion to do that.
Third.
All right.
And
And
then
I asked Darlene to make this
Who made the second?
presentation today, just to get the initial
Jamie.
start. Who did what?
Jamie got second, Marty got
Motion
first.
made by Magistrate Short, second Magistrate Gay, to move forward on this with additional information for point of clarity, and make sure that we are compliant in every regard with our administrative codes, in every regard, and we'll move forward on it. And that's what the motion is to bring forward to the court as soon as possible.
Okay, let's call for.
ASAP.
All right. Any more discussion?
No.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carried unanimously. Thank you.
Do we have references from other people who use this software?
Yeah, what, to use this Springbrook?
Half of this
Yeah,
state uses
Yes,
this.
half the state does.
Biggest
The other half,
Okay.
the other half uses one that we did get a quote from, which I won't mention right now.
Okay. Sound good?
Anything else, Darlene?
No, just thank you again to everybody for your patience and for just bearing
Yeah.
with me, because, I mean, honestly, this KVS has been a little bit of a challenge, so I've had my issues, and I know the judge has seen my good days and my bad days, and I appreciate him for bearing with me.
We appreciate, I know you've been putting in some long hours, and we appreciate it. And
we do.
You walked into something that, you know, that our staff did a good job mitigating and trying to correct, but
Absolutely.
when you've had as many issues for as many years as we've had, you know, we appreciate the work you're doing to fix it, so thank you.
Thank you again. All right, this comes the point in time, we'll go around the room with district reports. Magistrate Ellis.
First of all, I've had extensive conversations with both Steve Hunter and Magistrate Cullen about the solar embargo that we put on March 31. I would like to make a motion that we extend that embargo till May 1 with the advice that I got from Steve Hunter and conversations that I had with Magistrate Cullen. The reason for that is there's legislation in Frankfurt that could nullify all the work that we would do between now and April 1, which would be the first day past our current moratorium. And if that's done by Frankfurt, we would be not duplicating, but we would probably have something that would fall short of what they've done that would help us with the kinds of regulations that we seek. Jason, any comments?
My only comments is that the bills that I've read that are in the state right now, I would call our minimums and actually kind of pushed back to the local it's basically, if you have planning and zoning and they've set something up, you go by them. If not, these are the kind of minimums, and it mainly deals with the, the decommissioning of the stuff.
Right.
So I think it's going to be very important that our planning and zoning still moves forward with the work they're doing. And I believe Steve and others are taking into consideration what's in the bills.
I'm hoping those will be strengthened. We can talk again tomorrow on that legislative day in Frankfurt with both Girdler.
I like the idea of the state still allowing it at the local level, control at the local level. So, but yeah,
I would second the motion for the moratorium. I just think it's first of all, it's, and talking to Steve Hunter as well, he made it sound like there wasn't as much of a rush for everybody running ahead as there was before, because I think a lot of the companies that are looking at putting in the solar farms have kind of backed off a little bit, waiting to see what the state is
He actually
going to
mentioned
do.
31 of those companies have backed off.
And so I think that just knowing the pace of government, it'll take until May to get this through the local process as well.
Agreed.
The very reason that Steve reported that the 31 have backed off is that they too, like we should, are wondering what that legislation might be.
And that was discussed at the planning and zoning meeting at length the other day too. So.
Motion on the floor, Judge.
Okay, is there a motion on the floor to extend the moratorium on solar farms in Boyle County till May 1st? Is that what
Yes.
I heard? Is there a second?
Jamie seconded it.
Jamie seconded it? Okay, motion made by Magistrate Elder, seconded by Magistrate Gay. Is there any discussion on the motion as described?
I was the one who probably pushed for the quicker day. I think we started at a year, if I remember right.
Yeah, we couldn't know.
We backed it off. There is movement being made to find ways to coexist, and I think we should allow that process to take its time. But we're working on it, and that's what I want to see. We're working on it to bring a method that everybody can buy into.
Yeah.
Together.
I think the 3 months was a good idea, but I think extending it out just to finalize things is a good idea. So.
But we are open to moving that date around, and that's what I'm glad to see. And Steve is working on it. Frankfurt's working on it. We got to find a way to coexist.
Just, I mean, since both are working on it, just tells you the scale of actually what's hitting Kentucky.
Let's
It's a big
make
deal.
sure that we get a brief on that from staff during our visit tomorrow in Frankfurt. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, next issue.
Wait a minute, we gotta vote on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Got to vote. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Thank you.
Next issue, of course, the judge assigned a couple of us to the Birthplace of Kentucky committee. We had a good meeting yesterday. We do not vote. Fiscal court does not vote on that one, so we're just kind of sitting in and observing and offering up what we can. Two of the major issues that came up, number one, use of the property and potential for all nonprofits to come in pro bono, but how we might be using some of the property as rental or lease. There's some confusion, I think, about the extent of EDP's lease control, because interestingly, Josh was there from EDP, and he's not a committee member, but he was on the virtual call that we had yesterday, and he has a much more comprehensive understanding of that lease than I do. You might recall that 2 years ago, we went in great detail talking about redoing that lease, but we never did. And I think we need to get back, excuse me, with the new circumstances that we have with EDP and EDA, I think we really do need to take a look at that lease again very soon. I'm going to try to dig it out because I had a lot of notes on it from 2 years ago.
I thought Birthplace was looking to help us with that lease. Was it Birthplace committee or was that us?
Birthplace is not going to be looking at it. They deferred it to us in that meeting yesterday.
Okay.
And there are issues, and I'm afraid this is going to be a cost to the court. There are issues that have come up in every meeting in the last 3 meetings that we've had about termites and termite control. At least 2 buildings are suffering damage, and it's noticeable when you go into a couple of those buildings, the courthouse, the log courthouse being one. Next
But
issue.
Sean, can I answer that, sir? I'll get back to your question about the EDP on the leases. I think, back years ago, then we set that up, John, where, EDP had the authority to, lease and bring it to us if they're gonna sublease anything out.
That's correct,
They
sir.
didn't
That is
have.
correct.
Yeah.
And, is that what you're looking at?
Well, that and just how extensive that is. I did not understand that it was the entire block of Constitution Square. Josh seems to think that it is. And that would control a whole lot of things that...
I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. So we need to take another look at
I
that
think
with council.
it's just the office spaces there that EDP was assigned to.
The brick buildings
They
and...
didn't need them all, that they could sublease.
That's my
Remember that,
understanding.
John, when we did that?
Well, Julie's here too. She can
Well,
provide some
I'd
info
have
on
to
that.
go back and reread it. It's been a while since we've been.
I know
Tom
that
said it's been a couple of
CBB's
years.
looking for rental space.
Right. Yeah.
CBB's looking for rental space.
Right. And of course, brass band is
And brass
also,
band.
so.
Getting back to your termites, I think that's something, if you've got termites, we need to get on it real
Yeah.
quick and have it treated.
Right, absolutely.
I'll get with Dwayne on the term.
We have a person that comes by and treats the courthouse, don't we?
Yep.
And Judge, they did mention the partition. I believe it's still up unless Dwayne's been there since you and I were there last, and they're hoping that that can come down too. And that.
All that plexiglass is still up?
We believe it's still up, at least that, I haven't been back since you and I were there, and Ben Miles seemed to think that it was still up. So, we were listening to FirstNet a couple of days ago in Frankfurt, and just as I was about to get out of my seat, Judge Hunt nudged me to go and meet with the representative of FirstNet about some enhancements that we might be able to have here and in the county that would help out. I know in my end of the county, I know that Jason has some drop calls with AT&T at his end. The city of Perryville gave up on AT&T 6 months or a year ago, and I met for about 20 minutes with one of the colleagues of the speaker that you all heard when you were there, and then I talked to Bill Nichols, and we're all in agreement with the judge's recommendation that I meet with them, that we have a presentation, the sooner the better, for enhanced services, both in emergencies and otherwise, that would help with all of our divisions in the county. So Judge, any comment on one?
I think what drew my attention to FirstNet as opposed to other providers was the fact that over the last X number of years, let's just use provider A puts in an area, 2, 3, 4 towers. Statewide, let's say they put in 8, 10 towers statewide. FirstNet, as a part of those provisions, has put in 211 towers statewide. Now, all I'm looking at is a resource to expand our offering, our capabilities in the western, primarily in the western and in the first and the fourth districts, that allow us to get the total coverage that we would like to do. And if they're putting in that many more ratio-wise towers than other providers, then we need to consider them in a site location request to see if we can expand the capabilities to make sure that their commitments are met to first responders in that area. That was my thinking.
And then beyond our needs as a court and all of our divisions, I did ask about individuals. There are ways that individuals could tap into this. It would probably almost be a wash. You'd have to buy different phones, go to different systems, but over time, where the colleague of the speaker was talking about this, it might be worth looking at for those of us, Phil, who've had so many drop calls when we tried to talk in the past. If it's nearly a wash or a little bit more, individuals in the county might be able to buy into that as well. The last thing that I have is one of the most important things. Talk about a ball and chain. I had fully expected to walk in and not see this morning, because that's a tremendous amount of work for Missy. And folks, with the 2.5 times, because one of them was on the phone, but with 2.5 times that I've either sat with or called Bill Nichols since I got my iPad that I've kept in here. I was thinking I was going to work from it today. If you have not been with Bill, please, let's not come in 2 weeks with a white binder in front of us. If I can move into the 22nd year of 2000, I know everybody else can, because I'm the least equipped on technology in this room, and I'm excited about what I've been doing already on this. Yes, sir. Got yours yet?
What time?
I'm least equipped, I mean,
No. But honestly,
I would like to, as discussed earlier in the committee, there needs to be that deadline or that line, and I don't know how many are savvy on the iPad, ready to go.
If I hold my hand halfway up, I'm gaining on it.
So we need this side of the room, to get compliant in the next couple of weeks.
No binders in 2
I have
weeks.
John and Bill already, and Ronnie, if you want to join that same day, you can.
No, I'm gonna do it individually.
Okay. Let's set next court session as a
Bill and
date.
I want to challenge Bill really good, so.
Let's set next court date as.
We're gonna get a four-picture bill.
Hey, Jamie was in it, and uncharacteristically, I had, what, 41 questions?
Yeah, very
Uncharacteristic.
There were 3 red pens that were worn out.
Okay, so we'll set next court session as a goal to everybody be operating on iPads.
Thank you, Judge. That's it.
About a month
All
from now.
Huh?
Give us a month.
No, we've had a month already.
The weather's been.
I'm good.
Yeah.
You good?
I'll yield my time to the magistrate calling.
Oh, thank you. First and foremost, the 4th District is having their Pulse of the People this Thursday, the 10th, at 5:30 p.m. We're going to be over at the American Legion Hall on Spears Lane. Our good buddy Jack Hendricks helped me with this to secure the location, which was great, because trying to find locations in the 4th District can be difficult. So I appreciate Jack for helping me out with that, and all he does for the county still. So we've got that, so please, come on out. I think we'll have a good turnout of people.
I would like to encourage everybody to come, because this is an important courthouse to the public kind of thing. And I would like to ask everybody to continue getting those dates set and the location set in scheduling. And it doesn't have to be month to month to month. Let's just go ahead and do it. If you get an opportunity, set those dates, communicate that with Missy, and get it on the calendar for everybody.
What I was thinking when I was trying to do this, because trying to find locations is difficult, but maybe even pairing us up, so, say Tom and Phil kind of hold a joint one, and then, can kind of be somewhere within their district. And you have 2 of them, and that way, you're not trying to find 6 different places, you're finding 3 different places at that point.
Hey, just
give
me a call.
And then Ronnie and I could, because we kind of where we touch or whatever.
And then John and Jamie.
Yeah, I think if you kind of group them up together.
That worked for me.
My suggestion was, if you can't find a place, call me.
Yeah.
My district, I know this rate for Tom, but my district butts up closer to him in the south end than I do Tom.
But whatever.
We work it out. But Magistrate Cullen, I want to compliment you, because you've been to every one of mine. I've been to John's, I've been to Ronnie's, and folks. There's a cross-pollination that takes place when, he's come up with some issues that have helped me in my very broad district there, and I appreciate you coming, and folks, that's why we're here, to serve the entire county.
Yeah, no, it's a great program, and I appreciate, Judge, you coming up with this idea way back when we started, and obviously COVID sidetracked
Put a dent in it, but let's get her going again.
Yeah, it's an important process, and however we do it. But and I do appreciate you not having your meeting in my district anymore, though, by the way. Just kidding.
Well, I did that because everyone asks who the magistrate for the 5th district is. I said,
there you go. Now I see. There you go.
They must know who it is.
Well played.
They thought the city covered it.
Last time he went to the church out there in my district.
That's all I could get. I tried. I said I can't step on Jamie's toes anymore. But that being said, I didn't say we had to have partners or whatever, but think about doubling up. If
I just want to keep it going. It's worthwhile doing. It's worth doing.
I think it's a good idea because, for example, our district, we could have it over.
City Hall Junction, that's what.
City Hall Junction is a great place to have.
Yeah. So
just make sure everybody in the districts are invited. We can promote it.
That would double.
We get on the radio.
The people.
Both of my people will be there.
Did he say both? Hey, I remember inter-county that day.
Yeah.
I was there. Another fiscal court.
Yes, I was right there. I forgot about that when we were at Phil's too.
What else do you have?
You're two of the two I'm talking about.
You started to bring this up, but I would love to kind of get into a conversation. Magistrate Kaywood and I have a tough job with our EMS director, where it's EMS is a fluid thing. We can't wait 2 weeks, for stuff to be able to get stuff on the agenda or whatever. So we need to possibly talk about the actual cutoff and maybe addressing it and changing it slightly. As long as we don't abuse Missy, I think we can maybe move it up a little bit. And so instead of, Thursday, we either make it Friday or, I don't know.
Well, the point that we make, yeah.
I just wanted to kind of throw it out there that we should probably have a discussion because.
I'm very open to that, okay?
Well, the cutoff day is on Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's only one more day, working day, what I think is a good day. We don't have everything in by Thursday. There's no use putting so much pressure on her to try to get everything in on a Friday.
Shouldn't have to wait till Friday.
That's right.
But what happens if Mike loses 3 people on Thursday, and then he has to wait, and he has
Well, I think you can make some.
Well, yeah,
and that's the
exception for some people.
That's the discussion.
Let me say, here's the discussion point that I think is important, and I don't want to say that there was agreement earlier today, but there was agreement earlier today that if it's administrative, something like that we have an opportunity because of circumstance that we can hire somebody that's the committee's attention in each committee's regard and all the different functional areas. I would like for the committees to carry forth that administrative action. My point is, why do we need to bring to every court, but it's y'all's call, that we have to approve a request for a bid, a request for or something like a request to do something. If the committee is aware of a need, they can proceed with the administrative aspects. The legislative commitment comes with the approval or the disapproval of those actions taken beforehand.
I thought I made a motion that committee could, if they need somebody immediately to get, qualified people to get hired, go ahead and do it, then when we have our meeting, to bring for court, we hire these people recommended by the committee.
That's a part of it that I see value in, but say that the committee, or say another committee, the Environmental Services Committee, or whatever, needs a piece of equipment.
Public Works.
Let the committees determine the value of advertising for a bid, and then the court decide if the bid is acceptable in the timing of its submission by the committee or is not acceptable in the submission by the
I don't either. I think it speeds everything up.
The only downfall with that is we're allowing the committee to spend dollars on advertising dollars.
The committee's not spending nothing. Because you bring it before the court.
You're just advertising for the bid. We're authorizing you to go ahead and advertise for the bid.
Not to buy the stuff, just to bid the stuff.
What I'm saying is, every time we advertise, we gotta spend money with the Advocate Messenger,
Well,
which
the
if you look
committee's
at our
gonna have
thing,
to figure out a way to not spend the money.
Well, you
You have to.
you have, I mean, you have, like.
You
right
have to
now,
advertise it.
You have to advertise it,
Either way you go, you gotta advertise it.
correct.
Have you ever turned down someone to put out a bid? Well,
No.
I've never seen it in all my
No.
time. Phil, have you ever seen it? So it's pretty automatic, so why go through?
Gotta understand.
It would be the responsibility of the committee to make sure that the invoice is presented to staff to pay the advertisement.
But the only
I think
gray
we-
side with this that
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, sir.
I started saying, well, we can, if it's 20,000 or less, we don't have to bid it. We gotta keep that in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't it, Julie?
Technically, I think it's 30.
Or 30?
All the better.
So, we need to use that rule. If
Well, I'm
it's
just-
30 or less, we don't need to bid it.
Right, and this is not outside of the budget process. I think we're talking about only things that have been budgeted,
That have been budgeted.
and this is just pulling the trigger on starting the process during the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
And just speeding everything up.
And then with personnel.
To asking permission.
With personnel, this is normally, it's just replacing people that have left, so
To
it's.
me, I see the committee's doing their job in expanded authorization to present to the court their justification for what action they have taken as a committee.
And it will be due to the directors so that they know what they can bring to us.
And what Bill said, he said the cutoff was set because all of the paperwork that was needed. iPads will help reduce this prep time.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
what I
was
was saying. Once
that.
you get the iPads, it won't be as much prep time.
Missy does.
Text Bill and tell him I need to see him.
I'll do that. But so if Mike hires somebody on a Friday, we'll use the EMS shortage as a huge example. Mike hires somebody on a Friday right before a court meeting. He doesn't have the time to get them on the agenda. He's going to have to tell them, wait, you're going to have to wait 2 weeks to work till we get to the next one. And so that's why I think these administrative ones, where if it reaches out to the committee and the committee talks about it, then he'll still bring it up and talk about it, but we're allowing him to kind of not have it on the actual agenda right then and there.
Well, you could still put it on the agenda just to pass, the RE.
Well, we have to approve the hire.
Yeah, but
So-
that's what your committee's for.
Well,
It just fast speeds it up. It is, because once you bring it to the court, we're gonna pass it anyway. Anybody he recommends we pass, so.
well, most time.
I was gonna say.
I haven't seen very many times we have.
But we still need to bring it up and vote on it as a body.
Absolutely. That
And
is
so
required.
the main ask is, if he has somebody, or Public Works, or somebody needs to hire somebody right away, and then we put them, and it's not actually technically on the agenda, they can speak while they're here, and then get the court's approval. That's the ask.
Does, you and John, I assume, were on the EMS committee.
Yes.
These guys we approved today, and I didn't ask that question, excuse me, but is he, on these 3 or 2 we hired, is he going to go ahead and get a drug test, and is he going to do this background check on them?
The judge mentioned properly vetted, so certainly.
I
in
did
future-
mention properly vetted, and it was my understanding when he presents to this court, based on prior discussions of opportunity, that any person he brings before the court or the committee has been vetted to those standards that we have.
Well, I know once before we had problems.
Yeah, but we've changed since.
Yes, we
You know
did.
what I mean?
We've
And
changed
it
since
really
then.
bothered me that he did not know this person. He had not checked him out, so I'm gonna make sure.
That drew
he does
attention to the reason for the change.
Yeah, right.
Thus,
Good point.
The HR director that we fought so hard for.
Okay.
So we now have accountability.
We don't wanna get, I don't want the court to get in such a hurry about hiring people that we
Agreed.
gotta have them, that we're gonna take every Tom, Dick, and Harry regardless of checking them out.
Correct.
Oh, we gotta have them, put them on, I've got a space for him.
Yeah.
It might be somebody that abused his wife now before.
Right,
or done
and
something.
my example was just the fact that, Thursday's the cutoff. Well, if that person can't get into interview till Friday, they're not gonna be able to, and the interview went well and we've checked them out, then they're not gonna be able to be put on the agenda.
Well, I think it goes back to what the judge said a minute ago. I think if it's emergency or something like that, if he comes in, you gotta have it, we're gonna approve it.
That's my ask.
I don't think it needs to be on the agenda.
And I think once everybody gets up to speed on our iPads, it's a button, goes out instantly on information.
Well, she's pushing me a lot of buttons on my phone anyway. Every time something happens, we get it. I email it on.
Okay, is there anything else we need to discuss in that vein?
I don't think so.
16 messages a day.
I think I'm gonna leave some of Jamie's time.
You're done.
Counselor?
I guess I got an email the other day just asking me about, the annexation of the airport and how that might affect Boyle County. So I just kind of wanted to just go over a few little things that I've kind of did research on as far as that. Basically every real estate piece of property in our county, it's getting taxed, by our PVA. And, if that real estate, happens to be in the city, then, it's gonna get a city tax as well. Like for example, where I live in a part of the county that's an annexed part of the county, so I pay a tax rate of 1.184, and that's real estate tax. So if that land is annexed also by the city, then the annex rate of 1.184 is what would be paid for landowners within that area. I was looking at, also I talked to the PBA regarding like tax rates, and it's really not going to affect us much tax rate wise. The only item that it affects as far as tax rates, I understand, is for fire, because we charge, the Boyle County Fire Department charges a percent for the land currently there at the airport, and if annexed, then people would pay a city rate instead of the county rate. And further, as far as occupational tax goes, we're always going to receive occupational tax. And speaking with Susanna in the occupational tax office, she said she needs to get with Earl Coffey, because it was her understanding that maybe that they weren't going to the city going to seek occupational tax from those at the airport and so forth. So I'm not for sure on that, but we're not going to lose that on our occupational tax. And as far as my assistant, Patrick Barsotti, he serves on the board, the airport board. He's their legal advisor. And so I asked him a little bit yesterday about, just to kind of summarize a few things about the annexation. And he says, ad valorem tax, which, what I talked about was the real estate. Pursuant to the Kentucky League of Cities Handbook, a city has no alternative but to levy ad valorem taxes on all property located within its jurisdiction that is not specifically exempt from local taxation by the Kentucky Constitution or statute. So that's kind of on board with what I said, where there's that annexation charge for the real estate tax. Secondly, he just wanted me to let everyone know that the city has maintained that their efforts to annex a portion of the airport is by no means an attempt to alter the operations of the airport. By his attendance in meetings and so forth, Patrick tells me that the city's advised that they lack the authority to run an airport based on the law of the Commonwealth, and have stressed that the structure of the airport board will remain the same. So the airport board's done a whole lot, as far as applying for grants and so forth, and it's my understanding the city is not going to try to take that board down. They want to still maintain pursuant to the airport board. And further, occupational taxes, which Patrick talked about, I already addressed that. So we're going to still receive
Wouldn't it be more comfortable to have that concept in language of the annexation attempt by the city?
I think that's just kind of an understood thing. As far as the
for them to say
it
is different than having it in print.
I agree on that. I mean, you know, it's pretty cut and dry on the ad valorem and the occupational tax as far as not wanting to disturb the board.
That's
I mean,
my
that might
question.
be something that, you know, we would want to speak with the city about, maybe putting it in writing or whatever.
Yes.
Because that could change.
It could.
Certainly.
I mean, it's going to change anyway over time. I mean, people go off the board and new people come on.
No, I'm talking about all the occupation, all that stuff could change on down the road where
That's
they.
been my argument. This is only a 5-year period.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. On down the road, that could change. They could start charging occupational tax or whatever they want to do. If it's-
There's a couple things, and I just thank you, Chris, for bringing this up, but, you know, one thing that really upset me was, you know, they said finally people in that area are going to be, have available 24-hour fire service. Well, I took exception to that because I think that our Boyle County Fire Department does an excellent job, 24 hours a day, serving the people of the county. And so that one really ticked me off when they kept going back to that there's going to be a 24-hour fire service finally, because they've always had one. And our I can tell you from showing up all hours that our fire department does an excellent job. Just the other night, they gave mutual aid out to Garrett County on 52. This fire was out of control. It was raining real hard, and one of the captains came over to me as I was there with him, and he's covered in water, but it was all ice on his whole gear because he was there as a mutual aid trying to help someone else out. So, but I keep calling it Pandora's box, and they've pushed back on the county, saying the county can raise taxes anytime they want, but county really hasn't raised taxes in 17 years. So, you know, they're offering the sweet deal out there that they're not going to charge the plane owners this tax, or they've lowered the insurance tax or whatever. And that's for 5 years, but who knows what's going to happen after 5 years when you get a new commission, possibly a new city manager comes in there and says, oh wait, we've got this pot of money over here that we're not charging them, just like Mill Iron did when he came in with the insurance tax and jacked it right up. So it's a scary thing. I really hoped that it wasn't going to be approved this go around. And I had asked maybe that once the new commission comes in, because there's going to be a good amount of new people on that commission board, that maybe we approach this a different way and sit down and talk about it instead of just ramming it down people's throats. So,
what's the urgency?
There is.
We're going around and after you have your turn, you should come back to everybody speaks and you come back.
Well, this is a very critical issue.
I know it is, but
that's been happening without our input.
I'm still giving in on his 2 cents.
Okay.
What else do you have, Counselor?
That's basically it. Also, this week, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'll be attending the Kentucky County Attorney Association annual meeting in Lexington. We haven't had a in-person meeting in over 2 years, so it's kind of exciting to get to go and see other peers from neighboring counties and throw off, throw questions at them that I might have that, with their, experience as being, some of them have been county attorneys for quite a long time, and I look forward to that, to be able to, issues that I might have, to ask them about. I mean, I know tomorrow I'm planning on having dinner with the Casey County attorney. He's been county attorney for a very long time, and he's one person that I really, when I have a big question, I'll reach out to him, and he's very helpful, helping me come to an answer or maybe even solution to a problem that exists. So it's going to be nice. And also, I wanted to say, if you guys have any questions, I'll see Rich Ornstein. He'll be there. So, get him out, throw some questions at him, get some free legal advice there. So if there's anything in particular that you might have, some kind of legal question that you have, I'd be happy to approach Rich about it and try to find an answer to that as well.
Okay, thank you. Sir.
I'm gonna have to agree with Jason, although he took a long time to explain this. I didn't hear him say and I think he'll agree with me. I think we need to send a message to the city of Danville. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, that the court is against this annexation. I don't see how they just come in and spot annex somebody or an area because they want to do it. I think that's wrong. I think if it's gonna be annexed, Junction City should have been the city that annexed it because it joined them. But I don't like the idea, and I'm getting a lot of calls on what can we do as a court to keep it from happening. There's nothing we can do that I see.
Is there anything we can do?
There's not. I brought that up at many of our meetings, whether we're in Frankfurt, whether we're in Louisville or Lexington, to our state legislators. Annexation's a huge problem, it always has been.
There's nothing we can do.
I don't think there's a whole lot. I mean, you could challenge it. I mean, potentially there's
Prolong it.
Potentially there's a.
Can we send a message to the city that the court is against it?
I've said it several times.
Have you?
Yeah, with Judge's blessing.
With my blessing, he said it in those opportunities that have presented themselves both at the Kentuckians for Better Transportation and other venues that has been addressed.
Which is important because the city had given the message before that the airport board was behind it and the Boyle County Fiscal Court was also behind it.
That's true, that was actually
But
said.
those were, I asked General if I could change that because I don't remember us giving that blessing, so.
That's why I brought up the idea of urgency. I think we could send them a message that we would prefer that they would wait. And I think that might.
I don't want to wait, I want them just to cancel it. I don't want it to come up again. I mean, I don't see why they think they'd have the authority to come out in the middle of the county and annex part of the county, you know.
It would, there is a business, Warrenwood would love to be annexed in because they could serve alcohol. But that doesn't mean the airport has to be annexed in, so.
Well, the airport's not gonna serve alcohol.
No.
I wouldn't think. You fly on a plane, you don't wanna have some booze on you. I wouldn't think so.
Not allowed to fly when you're drunk.
The way I look at it, there's gotta be money involved somewhere. The
Right.
city wants to come in and annex the airport.
Yeah.
They've got something in mind that they're gonna make some money out of this some way. I ain't never seen them do anything for nothing.
Well, they'll try to take Junction over next.
That's been said. They tried taking over the police force. So.
That's the only thing. I'm just,
They did.
I just looked, Mr. Atkins is running for mayor, and according to what I read about it, he was hesitant about which way he's gonna vote. And, you've got the mayor not running for re-election, he voted for it, and then you got a person that is running, another person running for mayor that was the last vote getter, best I recall, in the commissioner's race last time, and that person was for it, so.
Yeah.
Then Atkins, I hope that he changes his vote because personally, I like seeing him as mayor, and I think this will hurt his chances to become a mayor if he does that.
I think it's important that each of us reach out to Mr. Atkins and give our 2 cents. I already have. Didn't work.
That's all.
So, yeah.
What'd you have for me?
He's trying to get you to a motion. I don't think one's needed.
Oh, okay, I'll make that motion that we send the city a message. We're against it. Is that what you want me to do, Tom?
If that's your sentiment.
I
That's the way I feel.
think less hostile actions of reaching out and having a conversation with them might work over better.
Right.
I agree with
Can we attempt the diplomatic version for the formality of a resistance
Yes.
statement?
There's a second vote, so it still could be voted down.
Okay.
And
it's just a thought.
And you mentioned your relationship with Atkins.
I agree.
That's a start.
I know Atkins real well, and I've called, left him a message. He's not answering his phone a lot, and I don't much blame him.
I agree with you, Phil.
I'm not going, I'm
Should
not
happen
going,
with the
I
next
don't want to
meeting.
influence you one way or the other. It's your all's call.
All right.
Okay, is that all you have, sir?
That's all I want to say.
All right, thank you.
I don't have anything, I'm gonna pass it over to my buddy over here.
You got lots of time to spend there, John.
I'm not going to,
Thank you, John. for
but I
being
will
here.
remind everybody around the table, I appreciate very much the fire service that the volunteers do. However, and I say this with all due respect to everybody, we used to have a volunteer fire service. We used to have a volunteer EMS service. we went professional, I think we would all agree that we have a very fine professional EMS. I just passed that out because I remember when we were volunteer before, and it was a difficult, I won't say struggle, but there was a lot of emotion in it. I respect that and understand that. But we have to admit, we've got a heck of a EMS service because it is professional now. So, as far rate goes, I would ask Chris, once annexed, would the fact that they've gone from volunteer fire service to professional fire service, which usually means they get there quicker, usually, will their insurance rates go down because of that, in your opinion?
No.
You don't think?
I don't have any idea as far as that goes. I don't know.
Is there, I think they probably would adjust down. Insurance rates are based on risk, and I'd say there's a good chance there'll be some offsetting there.
I thought the criteria was just fire protection availability.
It is. It's the score.
How fast they get there.
The ISO rating.
The ISO rating is what it is, so.
And Tom, they have been talking about this for a good while. It's not like something that came up day before yesterday.
Oh, I know that. And
They-
6 months
they have
ago,
talked
that
for years
meeting
for it.
took place.
So it's not a surprise. And they have clearly, and Jason, I think you would agree with this, it has been very well clear that there would be no adjustment in the board. They would not interfere with the operational part. You've been at the meetings, and that's what I've heard. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that.
Thank you, sir.
In fact, there was some friction there when one of the commissioners verbally attacked the board chair, Rob Cowell, which was very unprofessional. So.
Well, but they have made the statement there'd be no change in the board.
I've been around these
the
issues
operational
much too
part.
much for 40 years, and that's why I think there ought to be a clause in the contract that says something to that effect.
It's very much on tape. Cities, this has been a problem for years. Cities have annexed property for years. So for us to get into their nest, I don't think that's the message we need to send. If we're gonna send a message, we're gonna send a message, the city and county to work together for the betterment of the community.
John, the only time I remember them annexing anything is when they wanted to hire the city manager, and they annexed that little spot out there so they get him. But I'm gonna have to disagree with you a lot, because we've been promised things before by the city that did not come through, and I worry about this, I'll be honest with you, because I'm gonna tell them, they say today we're not gonna do this, and tomorrow's gonna be a different story. So I'm not on the same page with you on that.
I think if I may just make this brief statement, we can't legally stop it.
No.
Okay?
No way.
Got it? But where does it stop? What if they annexed every square acre of the county because they could?
Amen.
Where does it stop? What does that do to us?
We have 120 counties, every county goes through this. They go through this. So, anyway, I'm not gonna get into one way or the other. I just wanna make those points. And that's all I've got.
Oh, no.
No! Take that back.
Uh-oh.
I haven't read it.
Alibi.
I haven't read it, but I would ask you all to read this morning's paper about the detention center and the issues. I haven't read it, so I can't make a judgment on it, but I think it was an in-depth study.
About what? About what?
Detention center issues.
Harold Leader.
Go through.
Oh, okay.
And I look forward to reading it, but I think we've all heard this before from Brian, so there'll be no surprises. But
Is that, all right, is that it?
That's it.
All right, just as I know John would like for me to say, that we are continuing to move forward with our discussions on structure and other things as it relates to EDA, the Economic Development Authority. and I'm gonna meet with council later on to discuss some understandings of what we can and can't do under the current guidelines. And I'm trying, we're meeting Thursday, I think, this week. And anyway, go ahead, Tom.
I'd like to adjourn in recognition of Black History Month.
Sounds good. Sounds
What?
real good.
Black History Month.
Can I add one thing to what you just said about the authority? We're meeting really just about weekly.
We
So
are.
there's a lot of time and a lot of effort.
In fact, twice this
and
past week.
everything is being looked at and talked about, and the meetings have been good. Discussion has been to try to put together the best structure that works for the mission, which is the economic development for our community.
There's probably a lot of things we can discuss, but we've been here a while, and I appreciate everybody's diligence and patience with this. Julie, you have anything for us and as the benefit to the court?
Go Bengals.
Go.
Nobody's asking who does.
I understand the ticket price is $5,000 now.
Oh, my.
It's coming down, it's coming down.
5,300, I looked last night.
It's coming down. When you're there, go stand outside the door and you might get a
Oh, you going?
I know, yeah, we're going.
You need somebody to go with you?
Well, I have somebody, but if you wanna talk to him, I'm not gonna miss it.
Real quick, Phil.
Just thinking about it, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody tomorrow evening at Keiko. I've got a board meeting there at 3 o'clock. But now, how many's going to the breakfast in the morning?
Yeah, I'm gonna try, yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there, sorry.
You buying, right?
You buying
Yeah,
breakfast
I'm
and dinner?
Meet you down in the basement. I just want to say, somebody ride with me and then ride back with the judge or somebody.
All right.
I will
We won't have
not be
many
there
automobiles there.
for medical. I have
He has an
I have an
appointment that
appointment that is very difficult to get in the morning, so I will not be there.
We'll speak for you.
Are you coming to our thing tomorrow evening, Jamie, or Jason?
I'm there.
You're in.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I got you a seat.
Okay. Great court session. We constantly have a lot of challenges before us, but we have a great team and a great court. We're moving forward. I think this point of discussion regarding some administrative things that are making some changes will both aid in the presentation and the expeditious nature with transparency that the court needs to move forward. And
that was one of the things I keep talking. I want to just add to that.
are you trying to take Jason's place?
Jason taught me well. I just wanted to say that I think we have a wonderful, you do, so they work directly with you, but they all help us all, Misty and my buddy down the end there.
Julia.
And you have a safe trip.
Talking about Jason.
Talking about Jason, yeah. And Counselor, you do a good job for us.
Thank you.
Keep us informed and whatever, so.
Put that on your campaign.
We'll look
Phil said
ahead.
they do a good job.
Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you. Well, we have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a second to adjourn.
Black History Month.
Black History
We
Month.
want to adjourn in honor, respect, and recognition of Black History Month, which has meant so much to this country and throughout our history. We stand in adjournment, gentlemen.